Is it better? What about now? Akim, sound good? All right, let's go. But does it sound good? Yeah. Good? All right. Shema, Allah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord Yahweh. All right. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners, wherever the elect may be scattered. Peace and blessings to you, and shalom. Shalom, man. And as the title of the lesson is, we're going to be linking the sons of God in Genesis, the 5th chapter, to the hopeful elect of Israel today. All right? Proving the fact that those men, all right, from that lineage all the way down from Adam onto Noah, and even after that, man, all right, through our fact set, all right, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all the way down onto us today, man. Those men, starting with Yahushua, are the nation of Israel, and we're going to prove it. We can go to, any brothers had anything, we go to Genesis, the 1st chapter.
You want me to read it, brother?
I want you to read the first verse, and then brother get that word power right there.
All right.
We'll jump to 16. Go ahead.
It's Genesis 1:1. It says, in the beginning, you want me to read it like that, or you want me to read it?
Read it verbatim.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth.
That's right. And that word there, God, which the brother's going to get, all right, is ultimately Alahayim, meaning what? Many powers, many rulers, many judges. And just as you have today in this society, the so-called constitutional framers say what? We the people, right? Correct? And by them saying that, they're technically saying, well, this power only concerns us. So at the beginning, the Lord did the same, man. With many rulers, that top ruler being whom the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ, whom is Yahushua. Go ahead, brother.
All right. The word God in Genesis 1:1, Strong's H430, Alahayim, okay, which means rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, all right. And then when you go down, works are special possessions of the Most High God.
That's right, man. Like the brother said. One more time, brother.
All right. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods, all right. And then when you go down, works are special possessions of the Most High God.
That's right, man. Ultimately, starting with Yahushua, all right, those judges, those angels, plural, right, with an S, meaning many, those are us today, man. Still in that spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. All right? From the beginning, we were with Adam, who ultimately is Yahushua. You got something?
I got a precept.
Go ahead, brother.
All right,
You want to jump down?
this is Genesis 1:26. And Yahweh said, let us make, well, the Elohim said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion
You gotta
over
speak
them.
up, brother.
Genesis 1:26. Now Elohim said, let us make man in
Start
our,
at 20, huh?
go at 20.
Yeah.
This is Genesis 1:20. And it says, and Yahweh and the Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And the Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and after every winged fowl, and after every kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good.
Go ahead.
And the Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowls multiply in the earth.
Keep going.
And the evening and the morning were the 5th day.
In the evening and the morning were the 5th day, all right, which is the 5,000 years. Get in the book of Peter, where the day of the Lord is 1,000 years. All right, so the creatures of the earth, all right, the fowls of the air, the beasts, ultimately were created in that fifth day.
Right.
But the Lord's top creature, which is the nation of Israel, was also created in that day. All right, you got it, brother. Oh, yeah.
So like, we go see.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, he wanted to. I got it right here. This is 2 Peter 3:8. It says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day."
Right. So, like you said, Genesis 1 and 23, in the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Now, we're just jumping through this just to ultimately get to Genesis, the fifth chapter, where we, Lord willing, through the Spirit prove, all right, that the sons of God, all right, all the way even from the beginning, Adam, all right, through the sons of God, Adam all the way down onto Noah, represent the elected house of Israel today.
So just going into the fact that the Alahayim was in the beginning too, right? What was in the beginning? This is John 15:27. It says, "And ye also bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning." You know, so contrary to popular belief, Yahweh Shah created this thing, got the blueprint from Yahweh. Yahweh Shah and the elect created the whole earth and everything in it. All right? And that's why the scripture said, "Ye bear witness of me, because ye been with me from the beginning." You know? You got it.
Right? You hear what's yours? Yeah. That's what we give.
All right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 45. Okay, just to prove that the number one creature of Yahweh Shema Shai is the nation of Israel. All right, 2nd Ezra 8, verse 45. Be not wroth with us. All right, be not wroth with us, but spare thy people, and have mercy upon thy own inheritance, for thou art merciful unto thy creature.
Right. Yeah. And we're the Lord's creature, man. We were created in that fifth day, that 5,000 years. All right. That's why when you go into the sixth day, it said we will let us make man in our image, right? The image of who? We were made in the image of Yahweh Shai. And we're going to prove that in Colossians, is it the fifth chapter?
When it says what?
The image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. Colossians 1, 15, around the 15th verse. Go ahead, on.
All right, this is 2nd Ezra 6 and 47. It says, upon the fifth day,
Upon the what?
upon the fifth day,
Upon the 5,000 years. All right, now this is ultimately Ezra's recalling what happened in the first chapter, man. All right, likening us to have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, also known as the Spirit of the Lord, which the Israelites have today, and liking the beasts of the field onto having those capabilities, which is just that, a beast, man. So how ultimately will we separate it from that dust, from that dirt that the Most High created it with these laws, statutes, and commandments? Go ahead.
it's 2nd Ezra 6 and 47. Upon the fifth day, thou said unto the seventh part, where the waters were gathered, that I should bring forth living creatures.
Right, where the waters were gathered, ultimately, in the formation from the beginning, through that first chapter, it goes into the waters, the heavens, all right? We're in the heaven right now, right? The heaven, outside of this heaven is what? Which we call space, all right? Then ultimately the third heaven, which Apostle Paul was caught up in, that's the spirit world. As far as dimensions, you have four. You have under the seas, what you had that Titan gets swallowed up in there, which only 5% of the earth, 5% of the ocean has been discovered. Then you have the earth, then you have the space, then you have the spirit world, the fourth dimension. Just like you go underwater, you need what? Ultimately, something to maintain your breath. In this society, you have to have a certain body, which is the flesh. In the outer space, so-called, you have to have what? So-called spacesuit. But guess what defines all those things, man? The celestial body, man, which was given to the sons of God. You got it, man. You know?
Where the waters were gathered, that I should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass.
And so it came to pass in that fifth day that the brother read. All right, all those things came to pass, along with the top preacher, like the minor you read, being the nation of Israel. All right, go ahead, go to 52.
52.
Yeah.
This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 52. But
No, wherever you was reading from, read down to 52.
Oh, con. All right. I was at 47. This is 48. 2nd Ezra 6 and 48. But the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment
At the what?
At the commandment.
At the what?
At the commandment.
So in the fifth day, commandments were being given. All right, even though it was not, so to speak, given to Moses, written down. Right, you had many accounts. All right, between Genesis, the first chapter, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. All right, where you had men, just men, performing sacrifices. All right, keeping the laws to the best of their ability, and it wasn't written down yet. Man. All right, it was oral. The commandments were given. The Lord laid it. Who giveth life unto the Lord? Who giveth life unto these waters, man? The heavens. Lord willing, we be of that number, man. Like we went into the Alahayim, man. That top Alahayim being Yahweh Shai. Give me that I'm the Alpha and Omega. Real quick. And then we're gonna go pretty quick after this. Finish it off on 52.
Yeah, done. All right. It says the commandments of Yahweh that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Then didn't thou obtain two living creatures?
Two living creatures. But how was each living creature separated from each other? How do you separate a man or upright man? What? Enoch, right?
Yeah.
How do you separate Enoch from a beast, a Leviathan? The commandments, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which was laid at the beginning, man, the foundations of the earth. But even then, the Lord had his portion. You get that in Genesis 17. Israel is the Lord's portion. Then the dividing of the nation. Go ahead.
And it says,
go ahead to 52.
Jump to 52 right now?
Yeah. No.
Oh, bro, time. It says, the one thou callest Enoch.
The one thou callest Enoch, meaning what? Ultimately, Lord willing, that's us. We're like it unto Enoch, learned man. All right? That wise and just steward. Matthew the 25th chapter, those that had their oil, man. What's that oil represent? These laws, statutes, and commandments. These wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. All right? That's what fuels us. That's what gives us that light. We're like it unto a light in a dark place, right? Even in the beginning, we were like it unto that light in a dark place, man. How? Through Yahweh Shai, who was Adam. Go ahead, out.
And the other Leviathan.
Leviathan, like it onto the beast, man. All right? And like we always go into 2/3 of our people, they liken themselves into that beast mindset. Why? Because they're void of the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm just wiping a little rain. We got a little gust out here, I think.
I'll wipe it out.
You know? We're liking up to Enoch that learned man. Whoever had a precept was next, we're going to move on.
All right, this is what you had called for. This is Revelation 22 and 13. You bring it out. All right, this is Revelation 22 and 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. So everything started with Yahweh Shai is going to end with Yahweh Shai. Sin came in the world with Yahweh Shai, and sin is going to end with Yahweh Shai. Okay? He's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. All right? You see?
Right. That's right, man. And ultimately, the Lord, we're going to prove that the Lord gave those laws, statutes, and commandments ultimately from the beginning through who? Adam. All right? Who was beguiled by Eve, who was beguiled by the serpent. That's why when you go into Genesis, the 3rd chapter, they're given their decrees. All right? Each of the culprits in that scene, the serpent, Eve, Adam, they're all given certain judgments that play out on the planet Earth today, man. All right? The good and the bad. Right? You got it, bro. You got one of mine. Go with yours. And go to Genesis 2. Start the top. 2 and 7. And could you get that word Adam in there? You hug? You go ahead.
All right. This is Genesis 2 and 7. And Yahweh formed man of the dust and of the ground, and breath into his nostrils, the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
And man became a what?
And man became a living soul.
Man became a living soul. And then ultimately, that's ultimately brought up in Ezekiel, man, the prophet Ezekiel. Can these dry bones live? Ultimately, what was blown into them? That breath is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because when you're in the world, you operate under a low vibration, a low frequency. You like a dog, like that dog that chased the mail truck all day, and he get right up under it for the thrill. Next thing you know, one day, you know what I mean? But we're liking up to that in that mindset, all right? Jake do the same thing, 365, 24/7. What stops you from doing that? It's that breath of life that makes you a living soul. Go ahead, brother.
I got a precept. This is John 6:63. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profit nothing.
Flesh profit nothing. That's why it is written in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. The first Adam was earthly, right? But the second Adam, who's that? He's a quickening spirit. All right, because the flesh profited nothing. The spirit is what quickened you, man. And Yahweh shall ultimately quicken us through this word. Read it one more time.
It says, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profited nothing.
The flesh profited nothing. Did you get that word quickening? Because you're going to go into ultimately the celestial. All right? What we're going to inherit. All right? And we're going to prove that that's only given to the elect of the house of Israel, man. That's only given to us. If we be of that number. But the tall tale sign is you're doing the work, you're putting in the time, you're fasting, you're praying, it's adding up to one conclusion. Okay, you're going to be delivered. And just on the other hand, you have the wicked that are what? They're doing wicked, 365, madness,
25-8,
whatever it may be, and they're going to get destruction. The Lord He's painting the picture for you, man. You got some more?
This is that word quickening. This is that word quickening. Diosokoya. I said that wrong, probably, but it says to produce alive, beget, bear young living, to cause to live, make alive, give life.
And that's what this word does for us. Before we heard this word, we were liking unto dry bones, right, in that dead estate. Take on a low vibration, they like, huh? What? Like they got a meme and it says, this is what happens to fluoride in your brain. In effect of just scrolling on your phone all day. And they say, man, you got the memory of, what's that fish on Finding Nemo? The one that will remember something and just forget it.
Dory.
Yeah, man. You got the memory of Dory, man. But that's ultimately likened into the mindset of the world. But through the spirit, it quickened us so we can retain this, man. That's going to draw us closer to that immortality, which the brother got. And you can get his precept and break it down, right? Brother not see.
Look, the other definition says to restore to life. To restore to life. You see? And we're restored back to life with this wisdom and knowledge that we have through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. All right? But I'm going to finish off in the scripture in John 6:63. It says, the word that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Okay? So the brother Nasi, Lake Charles Camp, Shalom, buddy. How about you? The brother brought out the scripture, Wisdom of Solomon 2:23. For the Most High created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. That's right, man. We were created to be immortal, but what? Through sin, you know, death played its part within us. All right? So what, man? We're coming back to immortality, you know? When you read the book of Revelation, we're coming back to immortality. We're going to never die, man. Right? We're going to be able to, this flesh will not be able to contain us, man. All right? We're going to have a new body, man. All right? Coming into mortality. You see? You know?
All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and 25. It says, for she is the breath of the power of Yahweh and the pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. She is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of Yahweh and the image of his goodness. Which is like the brother was saying, the scriptures are, you know, the blueprint and the the order to how we should be conducting ourselves and not being as a brute beast as Esau, and the other nations, man. This knowledge, wisdom, and understanding give us life. The breath. That's what we've been speaking about. All right. It says, I got one more. It says, and being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new, and in all ages entering into the holy souls, she maketh them friends of Yahweh and prophets. So this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it makes us new. It makes us a new man, a new creature. You know. Yeah. So yeah.
It's written in a place. Any man
I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature.
That's right. And just how we were made new creatures in that image of Adam from the beginning. All right? Which was Yahushua by those commandments. Be fruitful and multiply. You have dominion over the fowls and the beasts of the earth. All right? And then it goes further on, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter, all the way to where now you have the sons of God almost living a full day up until what? Around 120 years. If that. All right? The average Jake doesn't even make it to that long, man. But yet we're still fighting. You got it, right?
It says, behold, all things are it says, old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new.
Right? All things are become new, man. Why? Because you're perfected back to that image. When you're put back in that image, it comes with certain responsibilities. It comes with certain standards, certain morals, principles. You're not gonna just operate under a certain mindset when you're in that image of the law, statutes, and commandments, which is fulfilled through grace in Yahushua, man, by faith in Yahushua. You got it, man.
Because when you become a new creature, you look at things differently. You don't see things the same way when you was in that Gentile mind state. You look at things more spiritual. You got it.
Holy real quick. Go to Genesis 2. Verse 7.
All right.
Did you get the word Adam?
All right. This is Genesis 2 and 7. And the Lord Yahweh formed man of the dust and of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
That's right. Did you get that word ground, Baba Kasha? All right. Because ultimately, who was formed from the ground? Adam. All right. How was he separated from? Like it tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the spirit of beast go downward. All right. The spirit of man go what? Upward. All right. So ultimately, we were separated from these different beasts of the field by this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But ultimately, it started with who? With Adam, man. Whom is Yahushua? Go ahead, up.
All right. So this the word ground from Genesis 2 and 7. All right. Strong's H127 says Adama. It says ground, land, okay, piece of ground, earth, substance. All right.
Right, and that's like unto the Israelites. All right, that's the Lord's people, man. The Lord calls us what? A speckled bird, right? Ultimately, coming from Adam, different shades of brown, man. And also the scriptures call Israel many nations, meaning what? We can be found amongst many different nations, man. Revelation, the 7th chapter, around the 8th or the 9th verse, it goes into tongues, nations, people. All right, that's the Lord's people. That's the Israelites, man. All right, somebody give me. All come from Adam. All right, even the nation that the Most High has chose. All right. And get to Rock 17 as well. I'm going to over there too.
This is Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse.
And this is expounding on that word Adama, which means ground, which ultimately was Adam, man. That was the Lord's chosen seed, all right, that will spark the lineage of the sons of God. All right, in Genesis the 5th chapter, that was the Lord's chosen man from the beginning, whom we know as Yahweh Shai. Man. So even as things start to collude and implode on this side, we know that the Lord set everything up from the beginning, man. And he ultimately, it's written in a place the scriptures tell you that he prophesied the end from the beginning, man. So all the way from the beginning, the Lord knew what was going to be happening right now. You hear that?
This is 2nd Ezra 6:54. It says, after these thou madest Adam.
Thou madest who?
Adam.
Who?
Adam.
There you go.
Whom thou hast set as Lord over all that thou hast made.
Over all that thou hast made. Now we're going to make the connection of the Lord saying he set Adam over all that he has made, right? To the particular lineage in Genesis, the 5th chapter, which goes down all the way to Noah. And we're going to identify those people, making without any doubt that Adam was an Israelite, man. And so is Yahushua. Go ahead.
Of him come we all.
Of him come we all the nations, man. All right? Because you have Adam all the way down to Noah. Out of Noah came what? Who? Shem, name, Ham, which means hot, Salakia, Japheth and large, okay? All nations stem from Adam ultimately. Go ahead, brother.
And the people whom thou hast chosen.
And the people whom thou hast chosen, which is who, Akim?
It's the Israelites.
That's right, man.
Which produces a separation. All right? Because it's established that all nations come from Adam and the people whom the Lord has chosen. Okay?
Keep that name Adam in mind. We're going to compare him to a certain man that's written throughout the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. All right? We know him as Yahushua. Go ahead, Doc.
It says, all this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sake.
For whose sakes?
Our sake.
So the Lord is directing his message to the Israelites, then claiming ownership and saying, the Lord has made the world for our sakes. Not every other nation. Give me an is it Isaiah? The nations are likened unto a drop of spittle, vessel.
40, is it 30?
40 and 15.
The water. That's right. Got some Hebrew historians in here, man. Anything you need, all right, brothers got it. You got it, huh?
I can make this good point because the Lord made the world for the Israelites' sake, starting back when we was of the sons of God. Because you got to think about it. The Lord gave our people the law, statutes, and commandments. And when you read in the Mosaic laws, okay, it gives us laws on how to take care of the earth. It gives us laws on, not to go around cutting down all the trees, not to mix cattle, not to mix seed. Okay, the Lord gave us laws on how to take care of the earth. So it would only be right that we as Israelites, okay, which in past times we were the sons of God, were the rightful inheritors of the whole entire earth. Because only we know how to take care of the earth.
Which made us a holy people. Yeah. He said, I give this to you in the sight of the other in the nation, which separates us from the other nations.
Yeah. This is Isaiah 40 and 15. It says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the same thing.
But go ahead. Whatever y'all brothers got.
And are counted as small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the owls as a very little thing.
Right, man. Meaning what? The Lord said, you're not a factor, man. You're just an extra in this movie. And we get questions and they'll ask, what's the purpose of these other nations? And we ultimately tell them to servitude, all right? To pay on tribute to the nation of Israel, all right? And we ultimately say, well, why aren't they doing it now? You got to track the storyline, okay? Where we at in this story, all right? The elect are scattered across the four corners in captivity in this day, man, okay? The storyline, aka prophecy, all right? But it was ultimately prophesied, all right, that from the beginning the Lord would choose out his people and then place them on the planet Earth according to a certain spirit, which is that of a certain man who is Adam, who is Yahushua. You got it, huh? Yep, finish that up.
Back in verse 56, it says, as for the other people, which also came from Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto the drop that falleth from a vessel.
That's right, meaning the other nations, man. Flip that sign over the other tribes, man. Starting with Esau Edom, okay? He likened them unto a very little thing, man. This story is created for us. This world, the heavens, the moons, they were created for our observance, man. To observe, to know what power we serve. Get it in Jeremiah, Amanya.
I was just thinking about that.
That's right, brother. Bring that
I
out,
was
man.
just thinking about
God,
that.
man.
Whenever he said the sun and the moon,
Yes. Yes, bro.
Ordinance.
And that was created when? From the beginning. Now we're tracking that history. You got anything else? You got some time?
Yeah.
all right, this is Jeremiah 31. All right, I'm just go straight to the point. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 35. Thus said the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea when the
And
waves.
that's what you call in the first chapter the greater light and the lesser light. That greater light being the sun, the lesser light being the moon. So Jeremiah is ultimately quoting Genesis, the first chapter, man. All right, so you think in the 28th chapter, when Jeremiah said the prophets that have been before me of old, they didn't have this knowledge? All right? It started ultimately through Adam, which was Yahweh Shai, man. And that's how it's ultimately going to finish. That's why the Lord said he's the Alpha and the Omega. The Lord is coming back to finish what he started, man. All right? Whether you want to believe it or not, that's on your body, like my brothers in BR say. Go ahead,
It says, which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name. Verse 36. If those ordinances depart from before me, said the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Right. And if I can make a quick point on that, and you see this devil trying to block out the sun, because he's really trying to upset prophecy. He's trying to block out the sun, so basically saying that, going into climate change. You see what I'm saying? And this guy is wicked, man. He's trying to block out the sun to upset prophecy, because the Lord said, if you can take away the sun, then my nation shall cease before me. Sorry, brother, it's just not gonna happen.
that shows you how diabolical this man is. You attempting or willing in your mind to think you could block out the sun and the moon. You're not even. You trying
Blow
to
up the moon.
Yeah, you trying to literally. You don't care about anybody, but you don't even care about yourself, man. That's what a base man does. He's just a beast.
And the earth needs
That's why the
sun.
Lord separated us from that mindset, man. You got it.
The earth needs the sun and the moon.
Yes,
And yet this fucking devil wants to blow it up, man, or block it out. He don't give a shit about it. He don't care about that.
Time, man. Yep.
He don't care about it at all.
Hey, man, that wicked man, that vile person, man. Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, we track you, Esau. We know your kind, man. All right, you got it, brother. That was it. Read it one more time, Mike, and then you can pass Sirach 33 out. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord Yahweh formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
And man became a what?
A living soul.
A living soul. And we know what made us a living soul was those laws, statutes, and commandments. Also known as the blood of Yahushua, man. All right? Things are making quite sense in these times, man. The Lord's prophets are growing stronger, man. We're going harder. Go ahead, Sirach 33.
All right, this is Sirach chapter 33, verse 10. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth.
Genesis 2 and 7. Go ahead.
Verse 11. In much knowledge the Lord had divided them and made their ways diverse.
In much knowledge. So that cancels out the fantasy mindset of, Adam, Eve, a little serpent, an apple. If you're thinking in that mindset right now, the Lord said he gave us wisdom and knowledge, man. All right? Over the beast of the field, man.
And a side note, like, you know how they say Eve bit the apple? Mm-hmm. I looked up the word apple. It is nowhere in there. It is nowhere in there. You know?
That's right.
Come on with it.
Yeah, man.
Verse 12, Sirach 33, verse 12. some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and
The
some of
Israelites. So from the beginning, the Lord said all men were created from the ground. Go ahead.
and some of them hath he sanctified and set near himself.
Ooh. Is that not, man, starting with Yahushua? Is not Yahushua at the right hand?
Right?
That's brought near the Lord, man. So how do we have access through whom the world ignorantly calls God? It tells you in the book of John, one of my favorites, it says, no man cometh through the Father except through me. That cuts Holy Trinity. All right?
Man, I had a bug out talking about that today.
It says, the latter part of verse 12, but some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places.
Right, starting with Esau Edom. Esau Edom is about to be turned. Hey, he that led it will now let until he be taken out of the way. He's going to be turned aside, man. All right, and like those nations that came against us in Psalms the 83rd chapter, the Lord is remembering all that, man. It's recorded in the heavens, just like you have in the court of law when Jacob's getting sent up the road, sometimes innocent, but that's another story. When Jacob's getting sent up the road, it's not it being recorded. It's not it going on the record. What do they say when Jake get hemmed up? Well, he's got a record. He's got a rap sheet. How much more in the heavens? The law got tallies on you devils, man. Go ahead up. Go to Sirach 17 now. That's
What verse 1 we started?
You can start at You can start at 1. And then you can jump down to 17.
All right. This is Sirach chapter 17, verse 1. The Lord created man of the earth. And
Again, the Lord is telling you, once again, the Lord created man of the earth. And at the beginning, that top man was who? Adam. All right? And then we're going to go further along and track the Adamites. All right? Which will ultimately going down into the sons of God. Translated into Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What did they call Jacob? In Genesis 35th chapter, I believe.
Patriarch.
Israel. His name was changed. That's right, patriarch. His name was changed to Israel, man. All right? That's us, man. Lord willing, we be that number. Go ahead up.
Right. Sirach 17, verse 1. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again.
That's right. And the Lord kill it. He make it alive. All right. He bringing man out from the dunghill. The Lord doeth all these things. Go ahead.
All right. Now, verse 17, Sirach 17, verse 17.
Wait, keep going on down on that. Go to the 5 operations. Just read down.
Okay, yeah, come. All right. Verse 2, Sirach 17, verse 2. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein.
Verse 3. And even when we lived up to that 1,000-year period, that was even a short time compared to what we're going to be living up to, right? And are we going to reign with Yahushua forever? You see, we're even going to break that boundary in Genesis the 5th chapter, man. Living up, hey, come on now. Immortality, man. Eternal life. Go ahead, brother.
All right, verse 3. He endued them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image.
Woo. Genesis the 1st chapter, 20, around the 26th verse. You see? The Lord made us in his image. All right? In the image of who? Elohim. Who's the top judge? Who's the top ruler? Yahushua. So we're made in that image, and guess what? We're being brought back to that image. And there's nothing you can do if we be that elect, Esau. There's nothing you can do. That's why we're laboring so hard, man. To cancel you out of the equation, Esau. We want to be a part of that tabernacle, man, of David. We're laboring for that today, man. And how are we doing it? By waxing strong. You got some time?
I was just
Living
reading
more.
I was reading this.
All right. Verse 5. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord.
The 5 operations of the Lord.
And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th, speech, and interpreter of the cogitations thereof, counsel, a tongue. All right.
Come on, man.
Eyes, ears, a heart. Okay. Gave he them to understand.
Man. So they'll tell you what, you have 5 senses: seeing, taste, touch, smell, and hearing. But the Lord separated us by giving us an extension on that. Read about the 6, he imparted into us what?
All right, verse 5 again, Sirach 17, verse 5, they received the use of the 5 by operation, Lord, and in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding.
Understanding. Now, that separates us from a wild boar or a bear in the woods, all right? Or any creeping thing, man. Why? We have understanding, okay? A pig can see, smell, taste, move to touch something, right? Feel, but can it reason? All right? Can it counsel? So it's likened on to an idol. It has no breath in it, man. So we were, even in that mindset, we were above these idols, man. All right? They have no will to counsel, no understanding. Keep going on. What else the Lord gave us? And Lord willing, that's us, man, because that's beautiful. All right? That's what's going to keep us sane in this day. Go ahead.
It says, and in the 7th, speech, an interpreter of the cogitation thereof. Verse 6, counsel, and a tongue, and ears, and eyes, and a heart gave he them to understand.
Right. The discerner of spirits. All right. And we're given these things. It's written in the New Testament. The Lord gives certain diversities throughout the body. Certain brothers are tongues, healers, evangelists, miracle workers, but all through that same spirit, right? Of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, ultimately given to us from the beginning. Go ahead,
All right, verse 7. Withal, he filled them with the knowledge of understanding, and shewed them good and evil.
And shewed them good and evil, man. All right, and that's likened unto us. Could you get on real quick, guy? And we're gonna keep going. Get 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter. And
2nd Ezra 5 and 1.
around the 40 something verse. And we're just gonna keep going, man. Ultimately linking the sons of God in Genesis the 5th chapter to the elect of Israel today. And what's the one with the Lord?
What you say, what?
Just I'm gonna get it out. Let me see. I'm gonna get it. Let's just go to Genesis the 3rd chapter. Could you give me Bible shot Genesis 3:19? And this is ultimately, all right. We're gonna focus on the judgment that the Lord ultimately gave Adam, and that's likened unto the Israelites today, man. In hardcore slavery, it tells you in Baruch that we are yet this day in our captivity. Go ahead, out. Genesis 3 and
19.
yeah.
All right, this is Genesis 3 and 19. And it says, in the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was waste thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return.
Right. So in the sweat of our face, all right, we're gonna get our bread. That's likened unto Jacob laboring, these vexing, oppressive jobs, all right, captivity. But it's ultimately all our portion of slavery that we receive, because we call America ultimately spiritual Egypt. So Egypt means bondage. So we're technically going through the same things that were in ancient Egypt, man, which we're going through all the time, proving that we're the Israelites today, man. But ultimately, that man Adam was given that because Adam Yahushua is a symbol for our entire nation, man. All right, he is the atonement, man. All right, for our sins. Go ahead up, and we're gonna jump just to show that was happening. Y'all brothers got anything? All right, go to Genesis the 4th chapter, and I want to get that word able, because as we go into Genesis the 5th chapter, I just want to go into it really quickly how the Lord ultimately, it's in the Zondervan too. The Lord ultimately took Abel out, which Abel was a righteous sacrifice. All right, I'm gonna just get that word really quick. And you can start at Genesis 4. 3.
Oh.
Just read.
This is Genesis 3 and 3. I mean, so like here, this is Genesis 4 and 3. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord.
That's right. So Cain brought the fruit of the ground that ultimately was an unrighteous sacrifice in the eyes of the Lord, but it was ultimately prophecy. Like we did a lesson linking Cain onto Esau even today. So Abel is yet another sign, all right, linking us to that lineage, man, of the sons of God. Because Abel ultimately means this. It's that word Abel in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It says Abel, all right. It says Abel. Etymology uncertain. Several meanings have been suggested. Abel meaning breath, okay, because Abel was ultimately who? A son of Adam. So that breath was ultimately passed through Abel. That's the sign right there telling you, hey, that spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was given through Abel because what? He offered up a righteous sacrifice. Go ahead,
Right. It says, verse 4, and Abel also brought of the firstling of the flock,
which hadn't been written as of yet, but would later appear in the Levitical law. So that tells you that we were given these commandments from the beginning, man. But operating it, and that's a telltale sign that keeping the law to the best of your ability is not going to save you, because we do these things by faith today, man. All right, in this captivity, like I was looking at, I went into this pet place and they had like some fishes, right? And they'll tell you this many years in captivity. Like one fish was like 2 years max in captivity, and I was thinking like, man, that's us, man. Like that's how Esau likened us to, like, and even as the sons of God, like us going into that lower state, like it's like, man, Jake is here and then return onto the dust. All right.
Right.
Go ahead.
And when you check out the scriptures, it was always a lineage or a man that the Lord chose, to forward the righteousness on the planet Earth. Because you had Jacob and Esau. The Lord chose who? Jacob. You know, just bringing out a point.
That's right. And it's that word able. It says able, meaning breath, transitoriness, suggestive of his brief life. Like how ultimately you see a bus go past. That's how Abel's life was so brief. But ultimately the Lord replaced Abel with who? Seth. All right. Let's get Genesis the 5th chapter. Right? If y'all brothers go ahead.
Just like when you breathe in, then immediately you breathe out. You inhale, and after that you exhale. It's a quick process. So that also symbolized how quick Abel's life was as well.
That's right.
He offered up that right sacrifice, but then Cain, through his jealousy, all right, quickly murdered him, put him to death.
That's right. While the brother get that word out, could you get Genesis the 5th chapter? Start at the top. You got anything?
I got
go ahead, bro. Go ahead, brother.
This is Genesis 5:1. It says, "This is the book of generations of Adam."
The what?
This is the book of the generations of Adam.
So these are the Adamites. This is how you got them. All right? And this proves ultimately that Eve actually wasn't carved from the actual rib. All right? So it says, what I go ahead?
It says, hey, that's the spirit too. It says, in the day that the Most High created man, the likeness of the Most High made he him.
The likeness of the Most High, he made him. Keep going on.
Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created.
Right, and this is not the genealogy of angels, okay? This is talking about the sons of God, man, all right? Literal men that came about via what? Sex, man, all right? The Lord said in the beginning, be fruitful and multiply. But that's another story. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
I think you want to say something?
I was going to say, because notice it said male and female.
That's right.
Nothing else. Nothing else.
Yeah. Damn.
Get the word set, Bubba Rashad.
That's why AI trying to rewrite the Bible.
Yeah.
Get you to read verse 2 again.
Okay. Want to read it right now?
Yeah, you can read it right now.
This is Genesis 5:2. It says, male and female created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam.
Right, the Adamites. Okay, go ahead.
It says, and Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness.
In his own likeness, go ahead.
After his image.
After his image, which, man, that's heavy. One more time, huh?
It says, and Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness after his image and called his name Seth.
He called his name Seth because after Abel, all right, his life was taken by Cain. The Lord put Seth in place. And we're going to prove that. What's that word Seth mean now?
All right. This is the word Seth in the Hebrew. Strong's H 8352. Shah. It says compensation.
Compensation, right? Now, when you go to the online etymology, Ty, jump real quick to Genesis 4:25. But when you go to the online etymology and you look up the word like asset, A-S-S-E-T, what's the definition, huh?
It says compensation.
It says what?
Compensation.
Right, so the word asset, like somebody said, man, I got a lot of assets in my home, whatever it may be. The word asset comes from Seth, which means compensation. Further proving that Jacob is the former of all things, man. You got any more? Go to Genesis 4:25.
This is Genesis 4:25. And Adam knew his wife again.
Knew his wife, okay. He went in unto her. Go ahead.
She bare the son and called his name Seth. For the Most High said she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel.
Instead of Abel, go ahead.
Whom Cain slew.
So the Lord could have said, well, you know what? I'm going to just choose Esau. Put him in that step chosen lineage. The Lord said, no, I'm going to choose another seed, all right, in place of Abel. Yeah. In place of Abel, man. All right, which was ultimately he knew Eve again and passed that breath, all right, through that compensation, which is Seth, man. Keep going on in Genesis 5. If the brother didn't have anything.
Verse 3, it says, and Adam.
Oh, go ahead. So like, go ahead.
You wanted me to read?
Read 26.
All right, verse 26. It says, back in Genesis 4:26, it says, and to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh.
That's right, man.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
So it says, then I just want to touch on that point. Then men begin to call on the name of Yahweh here in Genesis, the 4th chapter, right? Not Yeshua, not Yah, huh? The Lord,
in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, man.
Not what did it say? How do you say it? Ashur Yahya. You know what I'm saying it right? GLCC saying that. You know, no, man. Right? The name of the Lord is right here in Genesis, the 4th chapter. All right? Ahaya Yeshua Ahaya.
Hey, if I could make a point too, because now is that to say that Adam and Abel didn't know the name of the Lord or wasn't calling upon the name of the Lord? No, it just means that through Adam, okay, that wisdom, knowledge, and instruction, and that legacy that the Lord gave to Adam, okay, it was eventually passed down through Seth, and Seth passed that legacy down to his descendants, and now, all right. When Genesis 4:26 came to pass, it began a legacy of righteousness throughout the earth. Okay, through an actual physical seed line, which would later become the sons of God.
And they worship and called on the name of the Lord and sacrifice unto the Lord.
Yep.
You know, that righteous seed line. All right.
Right. Hey, and that word asset also means basically replacing for loss or damages, man. What was damaged? Abel, man. He was killed by Cain. The Lord had to bring that righteous seed back through that line of Adam, which was Yahushua. You got it, huh?
All right, back in Genesis 5:4, it says, "And the days of Adam after he begot Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters."
And
all
you beget sons and daughters. How? Through that same act that was in Genesis, the 4th chapter, 25th verse. Adam knowing his wife, all right, which came many more acts of Israelite patriarchs knowing their wives, man, and concubines. Go ahead, up.
And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
That's right.
And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos.
Enos meaning a man, son of Seth, all right. Go ahead.
And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years and begat sons and daughters.
That's right. Almost a full day, 807 years, man. And he begat more sons and daughters. But that chosen lineage continued. Go ahead. Through who, might we add? Through males, man.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Patriarchs. Go ahead.
I ain't never seen a woman forward in the legacy in the scriptures, man. So all that woman king crap, you know. It says, "And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years and begat sons and daughters."
All right, almost a full day again. And that word Canaan means basically possession, man. All right, it means possession. Okay, so he was the son of Enos. Go ahead.
And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
Almost a full day again, man. Showing you that the height we were at, man. All right. And what do they say? What are always tall? Giants. So we're ultimately those sons of God in Genesis the 5th chapter, which we're going to identify as Israelites. They were those giants in Genesis the 6th chapter that took that fall, man, into their lower state, man. All right, for going off. And so it happened to many other Israelite patriarchs, man. Go ahead, up.
It says, "And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalalel."
Now get that word among you, Mahalalel. All right.
Mahalalel.
It's going to identify Mahalalel, all right, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam.
And these men was calling on the name of the Lord.
That's right.
All right. This the name Mahalalel in Genesis 5. So Strong's H4111. It says Mahala'ala. Okay, we know Allah means God or power. All right, and it means praise of God or praise of the Most High, praise of the power.
That's right.
That's it.
You got more? And go down.
All right. The Strong's definition, it says Mahalalel, the name of an antediluvian patriarch and of an Israelite.
One more time.
It says Mahalalel, the name of an antediluvian patriarch and of an Israelite.
Now get those words. Now it identifies the son of Canaan, who was the son of Enos, who was the son of Seth, man. All right. It identifies him as a antediluvian patriarch. We're gonna identify what those words are. What the antediluvian period means. Ultimately meaning before the flood. All right. And what a patriarch means. So you had these giants, these sons of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, dwelling before the flood, man. Living almost up to 1,000 years. Go ahead.
If I can make a point, you see, it gives the name of that righteous man whom the Lord chose, you know, and he had a son whom the Lord passed down the righteous legacy to, because it tells you, it gives the name of that son, and it said he had sons and daughters, without mentioning their names, but really letting you know who he chose. You
That's
know
that
what I mean?
patriarch. He's the male head.
Huh.
That's who I'm passing my breath to. But that's likened on to us today, man. And I'm gonna get that real quick. As many as be led by the Spirit.
That was because Genesis 5 is basically like the royal seed of Adam. You know, just like you had a royal seed of David. You know, David had many sons, but that royal seed out of all of David's sons,
Solomon.
That royal seed went through Solomon.
Right.
You know, Rehoboam, and all the way down to the rest of the kings. Well, likewise, Genesis the 5th chapter. All right, but this is the word antediluvian. The definition of the word antediluvian off of Google, it says of or belonging to the time before the biblical flood.
Of or belonging to the time before the biblical flood. So this all happened prior to the flood. The Lord had his chosen people on the planet Earth obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, if you don't believe in the Bible, this isn't for you, but this is for the believers, man, who really believe that these accounts happen and have faith in it, man, that we are these people, which are ultimately the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Go ahead, up. That was more. That was it. You got the word patriarch. Can you bring that out?
I got it right here, though. Patriarch.
You got it.
In the online etymology.
You got it.
This is patriarch in the online etymology. It says late 12th century. Patriarch, one of the Old Testament fathers, progenitors of the Israelites.
Ooh, come on now. So the definition in itself on patriarch identifies as Israelites. So we're that staple, man, from the beginning.
You can only be a patriarch if you an Israelite.
He was there from the beginning.
That's right. You can read it one more time, Mike?
It says one of the Old Testament fathers, progenitors of the Israelites.
That's right.
It says from Greek patriarchy, chief or head of a family.
That's right. Chief or head of the family. And who's that chiefest? Yahweh Shai, man. That chief cornerstone. That's Yahweh Shai, man. And all those patriarchs ultimately came out of Adam, but that's likened on to the elect, man. Or the house of Israel. It says Mahalil was an Israelite, an antediluvian patriarch. He was a staple, man. A giant in the earth.
I got a quick.
Go ahead, huh?
All right. This is Proverbs chapter 10, verse 27. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. So when you read in Genesis 5, the reason why Adam and the rest of his sons, going all the way down to Noah, were able to live so many centuries, 900 years, 800 years, 700 years, because they feared the Lord. As it said in Genesis 4, then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Okay? But then it says, the latter part of verse 27, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. So eventually, as you go down in Genesis, the 5th chapter, the reason why each son, as you continue going down, their years were shortened from the father before them, was because they, eventually started going off. Led to the fall of the sons of God.
That's right.
What was it?
That's what it means when it said death was appointed in them.
Yep.
Heavy. You reading up?
Back in Genesis 5. All right, this is back in Genesis 5 and 15. And Mahalil lived 65 years and begat Jared. And Mahalil lived after he begat Jared 830 years and beget sons and daughters.
That's right. Jared meaning descent, all right, son of Mahalil, and the father of Enoch in the 4th generation from Seth, which Seth was ultimately the great-great-great or the great-great-grandson, all right, of Seth, which was Enoch, man, all right, which was another antediluvian, that of the Israelite. Can you get that word Jared real quick, I believe it's going to go into the same thing. And it's just identifying these men out of that lineage from down on from Adam all the way on to Noah. They were what? Antediluvian patriarchs, male heads, all right? The Lord's chosen lineage, but they were Israelites. You got it.
All right. The name Jared from Genesis 5, Strong's H3382, Yarad, and it says descent. So,
hey, Yarad, man. Yarad. And how do you ultimately bring forth descendants? Yarad. Go ahead, bro. All right, you keep going now.
All right, and it says, verse 17, and all the days of Mahalil were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years and begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years and begat sons and daughters. Right? It says that all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch
Almost a full day again, almost a whole 1,000 years, man. Go ahead up.
and Enoch lived 60 and 5 years and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with the Most High after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters.
I get that word Methuselah, and just to clarify again, these men had those same characteristics, man. I believe it means man of the dark, but it's going to identify him as an antediluvian patriarch, also an Israelite, man. These were Israelites. So when it later goes into Genesis the 6th chapter and goes into those giants, you can clearly connect the dots and say, okay, well, those giants, they were Israelites.
All right. This is Methuselah, the name Methuselah from Genesis 5, Strong's H 4968. And it says, man of the darts. All right. Man of the darts. The Strong's definition, Methuselah, an antediluvian patriarch.
That's right, an antediluvian patriarch, man. When you go into that word patriarch, like the brother brought out, it means an Israelite. All right, keep going up, and then get Romans 8, and then 2 Ezra 3. What you got, class? You ain't have to.
It says back in verse 23, it says, and all the days of Enoch were 365 years, and Enoch walked with the Most High, and he was not, for the Most High took him.
Right, and the Most High translated Enoch, man, into the heaven because of his dedication. All right, and that dedication came from the Spirit that the Lord put in Adam, that He put in all of his descendants, man, all the way down onto Noah. That dedication, that uprightness. But how was it given unto him? By the Spirit. And like the brother brought out, John 6:63, the Spirit is the Word. Yahweh Shai coming in the volume of the book. You got it up? You can keep reading that. You can read all of it.
It says, and Methuselah lived 180 and 70 years and begat. And look, I want to make this point when it says that and Enoch walked with the Most High, that's because he was in sync with the Most High, man. You know, he was righteously serving the Most High, man.
That's right.
It wasn't like, walking down Broad Street, with your house, man. Jake be simple. All right, look, it says, verse 25, and Methuselah lived 180 and 7 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son.
Lamech meaning powerful. Go ahead.
And he called his name Noah. And this same, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord had cursed.
Right, and Noah ultimately brought about that rest. All right, the Lord chose, and Noah was a sign of the elect today, man. The Lord's chosen. The Lord flood the whole earth, save their people. Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and their 4 wives. All right, repopulated the earth through that line, all the way down to Arphaxad. All right, and ultimately trickling down through several other patriarchs till you get to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Peleg, Terah. All right, those are ancient forefathers, but yet they were Israelites.
Yeah. Because when you look at Genesis 6 to 8 verse, it says, and Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. And who's going to find grace in the eyes of the Lord in this day and age? The elect. Noah, he was considered as the elect in his time. So verse 30, and Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, completion. Wow. It says, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right, and that chosen line, whom the Lord chose on the planet Earth, was the line of Shem.
That's right.
Okay,
This is Romans 11:5. Even so, then at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. Backing you up.
that's right.
And hey, and ultimately, like it says through the election of grace, comparing Noah, and it's written also of Noah in the book of Hebrews, man. He was an example of faith, all right? Trusting and relying on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. And that's like, on to us. It's not Noah, son of God. It's right. You got that Romans 8, I need to go ahead.
This is Romans 8:14. It says, for as many are led by the Spirit of Yahweh, they are the sons of Yahweh. All right. So basically, only an Israelite, can receive the Spirit of the Most High, man. And that means that also that the lineage of those people were all holy, because when you go into those different names, they all have some type of spiritual definition behind it. Making them sons of the Most High. All right.
That was it on Genesis the 5th chapter. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 3 verse 4. It says, O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spake at the beginning, when thou did plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commanded the people, and gave a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and did breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leadest him into paradise, which was ultimately Eden. All right? Paradise, joy. And ultimately, under the rulership of Yahushua, we're going to be restored back onto Eden. The brother have on deck 1 Corinthians 15. So it says, and thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward. And unto him, speaking of Adam, thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generations. Like the brother went into those patriarchs, all right, into his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, peoples, and kindreds out of number. When you go into that word kindred in the New Testament, it goes into the 12 tribes of Jacob, all right, my kindred, all right. So that's the elect, that's the house of Israel. So it says, and every people walked after their own will and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandment, just as it is in this time, all right? Because just as the elect are scattered, just how you have Jake doing wickedness all over, man, fulfilling those curses. Just like we're, Lord willing, going to fulfill that take that deliverance. But it says, and again in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwell in the world and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every one of them, that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah, what the brother read in Genesis 5, namely Noah, with his household, of whom came all righteous men. All right? So those men that came out of Shem, all right, who are in fact said Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob unto the elect today, all right? They're righteous men. Lord willing, we be in that number. All right, we're going to be turned from that earthly as Adam was and brought to that quickening spirit like Yahushua is. That 1 Corinthians 15, we're going to jump down. And you can just read on down.
All right. All right. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 38. But Yahweh giveth it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body. Verse 39.
Did you read in that's the KJV right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep reading the KJV, brother.
All right.
You want me to read it in there too?
Yeah, grab that. The water.
All right. Verse 39. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds.
Right. So the Lord had different kinds, different creatures from the beginning, like we explained. But the Lord chose Israel and exalted Israel above to have dominion over, like it tells you, is that Genesis the 9th chapter, all right, that we have dominion over these beasts.
Come. The dread, the fear.
The fear of you shall be on the beast. So the Lord put us above all these different beasts, fishes, birds, all right? Because ultimately it tells you, like we quoted in Ecclesiastes the 3rd chapter, the spirit of beast go downward, the spirit of man go upward, man.
Right.
So we're going to be made onto that heavenly body, just like Yahushua was. It tells you that in the book of Acts, all right? The Mount of Olives. So he will return, man. As you seen him ascend up, all right, he's going to descend down in a like manner. Meaning by what? A chariot, man. That fathership. We're waiting on it, Esau. Go ahead, up.
And verse 39 is how we know that there's no such thing as mermaids. Just a quick point.
Yeah.
Or evolution.
Yeah, come.
You're right, brother.
Verse 40, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 40. There are also celestial bodies.
Celestial means heavenly. Go ahead.
And bodies terrestrial.
Terrestrial means earthly. All right? Just as Adam was. But guess what? Adam was quickening. And Yahushua isn't earthly anymore. He's heavenly. He's celestial. And that's how he's going to come back. Go ahead.
It says, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another.
That's these chains of darkness that we're in, man. There's a certain glory that we got a cap on our glory in this flesh, man. But guess what? The celestial glory is unlimited. It's eternal. Because then the law is going to be within us. We're going to be made perfect like Yahushua. Go ahead,
That's why the Apostle Paul saying in the scriptures, we go from glory to glory.
That's right.
We'll go from the glory of this earthly terrestrial to the glory of the celestial, the heavenly. When it says, verse 41, there is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star differeth from another star in glory.
And what is a star? A star is a celestial body. Go ahead up.
Verse 42. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption. It is raised in incorruption.
And that's likened unto us. But how we sown in corruption? The flesh. All right. How we raised in corruption? Through the spirit, which is the word, through Yahushua. That's how we're going to be raised from this corruption, these chains of darkness, because we're prisoners of hope. It tells you the angels that kept not their first estate. All right, and the other one in Jude, you had quoted up. That's the one in Jude. The other one is made a little lower than the angels. All right, that's likened unto us, man. But Yahushua did it first. He was the example unto that, man. He came in the flesh and overcame it, and was rewarded with that celestial. And that's likened unto the lot of the sons of God. We're going to overcome the flesh, and we're going to be restored back to the Noahs, the Mahalils, the Jareds, the Enos, the Enochs, the Sets, man. All examples of the elect. The Lord's men. You got it.
The scripture says that I shall restore the judges at the first.
At the first. That's right, bro. You can go ahead, huh?
It says, verse 42. 43. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power.
Right, the scriptures tell you, man being honored, abideth not. He's like a beast that perish. So we're going to be translated, like the brother said, we're going to go from glory unto glory. All right? We're going to go from these chains of darkness to ultimately angelic beings. Lord willing, we be at that number, man. It's worth it. It tells you in Isaiah, you shall run and not get tired. You shall walk and not faint, roughly paraphrasing. It tells you in Revelation how basically the giver of rain, roughly paraphrasing, going into those spiritual powers, man. All right? That's us. That's going to be given to us. The Lord said, arise, heal the leopard, raise the dead, cleanse the leopard, all right, heal the blind. Who did he give that authority to on the planet Earth? The disciples, which will ultimately represent who? Us. You got it.
He said you should have power over serpents and scorpions. But rejoice not that you have power over them, but rejoice that your name is written in the heavens.
Man, got it.
You keep going, man.
Verse 44, 1 Corinthians 15 and 44. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body.
That's ultimately the process Yahushua went through. Sown as Adam, raised as Yahushua. Even though Yahushua had different reincarnations, right? Melchizedek, King Solomon, okay? He ultimately fulfilled that celestial body in who? Yahushua, man. It's going to say that. Go ahead.
It says there is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. Verse 45, and so it is written, the first man Adam was made a living soul.
That's right, and we brought that out in 2 Ezra 3rd chapter. All right, that breath was blown into Adam, and he was made a living soul. That breath is the law, statutes, and commandments. This wisdom, this truth, these prophecies. Revelation 19 and 10, the testimony of Yahushua. Go ahead,
It says the last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
Ooh, the last Adam. So there's two Adams. Who's the first Adam? We read about him in Genesis, the first, the second chapter. All right, the third chapter. Ultimately, he was written through all those chapters. He's written in the volume of the book. All right. Go ahead, out. Get that word quickening, Baba Kushab. It's just gonna show terrestrial, which was Adam, and then celestial, which was Yahushua. It's in 1 Corinthians 15. You got it.
Is that word quickening? Zopio. Zopio. It's the same one up in John. It says to produce alive, beget or bear living young, to cause to live, make alive, give life, by spiritual power to arise and invigorate.
Right. So it said, one more time, Amanya.
It says 1 Corinthians 15 and 45, and so it is written, the first man Adam was made a living soul, and the last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
That's right, man. Because ultimately, when you think about it, those commandments were given orally. All right, he was made a living soul, right? That breath of life. But now, through Yahushua, we're going to get that eternal life. We're going to get it all. It's going to be in us. We're going to be fully made perfect, man. Like Yahushua is. Like, isn't it written in a place, you should be perfect as your Father in heaven? That's us, man. Lord willing, we'll be at that number. Go ahead, huh? You can keep it on. You have some more time?
Well, I did look up that word. It says, on the definition, it says by spiritual power to arouse and invigorate. So when you look up the word invigorate, it says revitalize. But when you go into it, it says energize, refresh, revive. But the one I want to get to is put new strength /
rivers of
life.
living water. Rivers of living water. Go ahead,
It says put new strength, new life, heart in. Right?
Heart in. Is it not written in a place, I should give ye a heart of flesh? All right. Mm-hmm. Take from you that stony heart. So these statutes and commandments are going to be brought into us, man, through Yahushua, which is that quickening spirit. All right. He said, I quicken in whom I will. So the Lord chooses who he's going to deal with, man, even from the beginning. The Lord said, I will have mercy upon you. I will have mercy on you. You want to say something now? Okay. You can go ahead, Mike.
All right. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 46. Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. All right. 47. The first man is of the earth.
Being the first Adam. Go ahead.
Earthy. The second man is the Lord from heaven.
The second man is who?
The Lord from heaven.
So that's telling you that, man, one more time, Mark. What push up?
First Corinthians 15, verse 47. The first man is of the earth, earthy. The second man is the Lord from heaven.
Right. So Adam, all right, is Yahushua. All right. Yahushua was Adam. He is that top ruler, that top judge, that we were made in his image. All right. First Colossians, the first chapter. around the 15th verse. Who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature? Yahweh Shah was that prototype. I believe when you go into that word, firstborn, you go into one of those words, it gives you that prototype.
Firstborn.
Firstborn. You can grab it out real quick. Then we're going to keep going, man. We're going to wrap it up.
All right. Verse 48, as is the earthy, such are they also that are earthy. And as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. All right. Verse 49, and as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly.
Right, so we're bearing that image right now. The Lord said, bear your cross, right? Bear these infirmities of the flesh. Overcome the flesh. So our reward for bearing that earthly image, going through what Yahweh Shai went through, that fiery trial, is going to be that heavenly image that we're going to be brought back and restored to, just as that of the sons of God, man. That's us, Lord willing. You got it, huh?
I'm going into the word.
I want to just, I'm gonna bring it out real quick, guys. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 1, verse 15, and it reads, "Who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature?" I'm gonna read up some. It says, First Colossians 1 and 13. And at the head of this, it says, the incomparable Yahweh Shai. The incomparable Yahweh Shai. It says, who had delivered us from the power of darkness and had translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. Because Yahweh Shai was that partner for us, man. When he died and went through, pardoned us and brought us back and redeemed us to the Father, Yahweh. Who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature? For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions, or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Even from the beginning, man. Clear cut to show you Adam was Yahweh Shai, man. Who's the image of the invisible power? The invisible power is Yahweh. Can we see Yahweh? All right. Have we seen Yahweh Shai yet? But how do we ultimately see the Father and his Son? By this word, man. That's how we have access back, which is the Spirit, which is that blood. Barak Atah, brother. That was it. You got it. Yeah, anything?
Want me to continue first Corinthians 15?
Up to 50.
All right. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption.
Right, because all that corruption has to be put off. But guess what? We're starting now. We're putting that corruption off. We're preparing ourselves for that, to be made in that heavenly image. We're preparing to translate from earthly to celestial, man. All right? Wouldn't that be what the sons of God will be doing on the planet Earth? Trying to return back to that estate? Yearning, the earnest expectation of the creature, like it says in Romans the 8th chapter. Wait for the manifestation of the sons of Yahweh by Shem Shai. We can end it off with that. Could you read down to 53 and we're gonna make the last one at Romans 8. You can get in there too.
All right. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 51. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Verse 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
Right, the dead shall be raised incorruptible, meaning what? The dead in the Mashiach are going to be raised. They that rest from their labors, man. All right? And we have patriarchs that we could state and come to mind. Patriarchs that walk this earth in our times, man. All right? That are going to rise with Yahweh Shai, man. That are rested in the spirit world. All right? It's not King Masha, Elder Abba Bivens, High Priest Ariah. All right? The truth came from one west, man. But look where it's brought us to today. All right, look how far we came, man. We had to come out of that, out of that mindset and return unto the sons of God. Because guess what? Now is the time, man. So you're gonna see the elect, whoever is of the Lord's people, they're gonna be perfecting themselves in these times, man. They're gonna be holding on to this. That's a clear indication that they might be of the sons of God. The elect are that large multitude of men, women, and children, man. You got it, right?
All right, verse 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality.
That's right, man. Immortality going into that celestial, the heavenly. Lord willing, we put on all that. All right? We're going to put on that, and we're doing it now, right? Is that Ephesians, the 5th chapter? The breastplate of righteousness, helmet and buckler, the shield of faith. We're doing that now, man. 6th chapter, we're preparing for those celestial bodies, man. By guarding ourselves and putting the armor of this word on us, man. That's how we're ultimately going to be changed, through this, through believing, through faith in Yahweh Shai. You got one up? You go ahead and then we.
All right. This is 1 John chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. Verse 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, talking about Yahushua, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
Amen.
Check this out. Look how that Romans 8 goes right into this. This is Romans 8, and I'm gonna start at 17. It says, and if children, then heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with the Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. You see? For I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us, because we are the hope of the elect, the sons of God, right? Verse 19, the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestations of the sons of the Most High. See? So yeah, man, like we like the scripture says, man, we suffer with Hamashiach, man. All right. So, we hope to be the sons of the Most High, man. But time is going to tell, man, because first and foremost, it must be under the skin, So, like, time gonna tell, man, and prophecy gonna tell, and you're gonna see, it says, then you shall know who my chosen is, man. So,
keep reading up.
Verse 20. It says, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willing, but by reasoning of him who has subject the same in hope.
The creature was made subject to vanity. Again, calling us creatures, right? Mm-hmm. But guess who that top creature is? The nation of Israel. Read from verse 30 out.
Con, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 30. For the grain of evil seed had been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness has it brought up into this time, and how shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come?
We're in that time of threshing, all right? So ultimately, prophecy has to be fulfilled by that grain of evil seed, making Adam ultimately go off from the beginning. Because a righteous judge, a true judge, which the elect are being made out of, knows good and evil, all right? That's what we ultimately made unto, man. A righteous judge on this side, man. We know good and evil, man. And what we're going to see up and coming these prophecies that's left in this deck of prophecy, all right? We're going to see a whole lot of evil, okay? But it's going to be combated by good ultimately, all right, at the manifestation of Yahushua, man, when he cracks those clouds, all right, and delivers his hopeful elect. Let's finish off on that Romans 8 up.
All right, Romans 8:21. It says, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit.
The elect. Go ahead.
Even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to wit the redemption of our body.
And that adoption in Romans the 9th chapter is only for the elect of Israel. Man. Right in the very next chapter, Apostle Paul goes into it. Man. All right. So we're earnestly waiting for the manifestation of our Lord, man, to deliver us righteousness and peace, and we can return unto the sons of God, man. Lord willing, we be at that number. But has got anything?
Hey, we gotta read that in NLT.
Go ahead, brother. Thank
you. It's Romans 8, verse 23. You got it if you want it, huh? All right. Romans 8, verse 23 in the NLT. And we believers, all right, the elect, and we believers also groan, even though we have the Holy Spirit within us as a foretaste of future glory.
That's the hopeful elect. Because even though we have faith that we'll be at that number, we still don't know, man. All right? That's why it's our earnest expectation. We're hoping that we be of that number. Because to be at that number is a great thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right? Shalom, Mark.
It says, for we long for our bodies to be released from sin and suffering.
Come on, man. How is that going to happen? From putting off this earthly to the celestial. We're going to be released from the suffering, the aches and groans, our spirit wondering when the Lord is going to come back. That's all going to be met with the manifestation of the Lord. All those problems go out the window. The worries, the pain, the thoughts, the vexation of the spirit, of this flesh is going to be released when Yahushua cracks those clouds, because we're going to have those celestial bodies. Those chains are going to be broken off of us. Those curses, like the Lord tells you in the book of Revelation, it says, I shall wipe the tears, all right, away from their eyes. That's a revelation, right? Mm-hmm. Because why? It's going to be no more slavery, no more not knowing your nationality, no more going off, man. No more oppression. Just imagine that until Shiloh comes. Go ahead.
It says, we too wait with eager hope for the day when Yahweh will give us our full rights as his adopted children, including the new bodies.
Because we're heirs, right? So we want full rights. Our rights are been scammed away from us by Esau Edom, man. All right? You have an imposter on the planet Earth that's saying he's the Lord's chosen people. That's saying he has access to our rights. He puts himself in the seat of where we were progenitor from, man. All right? Eden, paradise. The whole earth was paradise at that time, but it's going to return onto that. All right? So the Lord knows how to deliver the righteous out of temptation, and ultimately to bring the elect back into their lot. They that follow with the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. Go ahead, Doc.
It says, we too wait with eager hope for the day when Yahweh will give us our full rights as his adopted children, including the new bodies he has promised us.
Yep, that's right, man. The new bodies. And that's going to be attached to New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem is going to descend down with new bodies. All right? Think of the adversity, the hell, the trial. But it's going to be worth it because we're going to be made in the image of Yahushua now. Wouldn't you want to be made in the image of your Creator again? We see the mess we've gotten ourselves into now. The hole we've dig for ourselves. The only way out is Yahushua. So Lord willing, brothers got anything? Lord willing, this message is edifying. We're going to face the east and give infinite honors and praises to
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem HaKadosh.
Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
Baba Bob.
Baba Bob.
Shalom.